Dayton, Forest Discovery Program Director here at Heartland Forest.
And I'm Kira Moratz, an outdoor and wildlife educator here at Heartland as well.
A plant is considered native if it has occurred naturally in a particular region, ecosystem, or habitat without human introduction. Other plants and animals that are naturally found in the same area have coexisted and adapted to life with one another. The local animals are able to make use of the plants in their habitat to meet their survival needs. Exotic plants that may be escaped garden plants or plants that have been brought here for food have evolved in other parts of the world or were cultivated by humans into forms that don't exist in nature, and they don't support wildlife as well as our native plants do. Many wildflowers that are common along our roadsides are actually not native. This chicory right here is actually a non-native plant. People have used it in the past to make a coffee substitute. Teasel, like this one here, is found along our roadsides and is also a non-native plant. It was brought here in the 1700s as part of the wool industry. Our settlers would use the seed heads to card the wool as part of the wool making process. We have many different species of asters and goldenrod here in Ontario. Beautiful late blooming flowers, they provide an important source of pollen and nectar for insects throughout the fall.
It's a common misconception that hay fever is caused by goldenrod. Now, this is untrue. Hay fever is caused by tiny grains of pollen that float on the wind, which would be caused by flowers that are pollinated by the wind. Now, goldenrod actually has very heavy pollen that has to be picked up on the bodies of insects moving from flower to flower.
Not only are plants beautiful when they flower, but they can also be beautiful when they produce fruit. Our Jack in the Pulpit, which is a common sight here in the springtime, is now producing its beautiful red berries along our forest floor. I'm standing here beside some very tall green-headed coneflower. Honeybees, like this one beside me, and other insects that can see in the ultraviolet spectrum, can actually see a different colored stripe or runway heading down the petals towards the middle where it is rich with pollen and nectar for them.
This flower right here is called purple coneflower. It's also a type of echinacea flower with others in its family. Now, coneflower is a highly attractive plant to monarch butterflies as well as some other pollinators because it's really nice and easy for them to land on. During this time of the year where it's drying out a little bit more, it's also attractive to birds because the seed heads, they'll come down and they'll land and they'll pull them all out. Now, coneflower was actually historically used to treat snake bites, headaches, and sore throats, and it's actually still used today for pharmaceutical purposes.
Found growing naturally along the border of our forest wetland is this turtlehead flower here, named for the shape of the flowers. This here is one of our prettier native wildflowers. It's very showy in this bright red. It's called a cardinal flower, named after the red robes of the Catholic cardinals. It likes wet, sunny locations, and it can grow actually quite tall. This smaller specimen here has been planted for the enjoyment of our visitors.
In Ontario, different species of flowers bloom from spring to fall at different times of the year to provide our pollinators with nectar and pollen sources year-round.
Wildflowers have inspired visual artists, musicians, and poets for centuries. Poet William Blake was inspired to write a poem called The Wildflower's Song during the late 1700s.
As I wandered in the forest, the green leaves among, I heard a wildflower singing a song. I stepped in the earth in the silent night. I murmured my thoughts and I felt delight. In the morning I went as rosy as morn to seek for new joy. As I wandered in the forest, the